and today's another day. And it's about mainly the hood that got damaged. Yeah, I didn't want to show that. Last Sunday, today's Saturday, we got a storm that came through here at night, and having a portable spray booth, even set up correctly and everything, and I took it above and beyond by doing certain things to make sure that I wouldn't have any issues. But the one thing that took place is that when the wind was blowing, it got underneath the spray booth because it has a floor, it's all in one, and it lifted enough as to where it tilted or tipped over the stand that the hood was on. So I went and the problem was they don't make the color anymore. I got in touch with the company I bought it from, and they were able to drum up one more quart reducer, which gave me a half a gallon of sprayable material. Prior to that, I already had what was left, which was about another half gallon of sprayable material. Considering I had to go over everything 3 times, gave it 3 coats, I didn't know if I was going to run out with a half a gallon of sprayable material. I didn't want to take that chance, so I was glad that I called. They sent me it, I got it, and it was an identical match, and I even mixed it with what I had before, and it's perfect. So the damage, I'm going to point out where it was. It's fixed. I've already gone as far as today or yesterday. I put the candy color on, and everything came out really, really nice. So today's going to be about actually not only clearing it, but also doing the final drop coat clear on the hood only. I want to get that out of the way and then take it out of the booth and put it someplace safe. So I'm going to show you the hood and also a couple other things that I finished for the custom trailer that I've been aching to finish and so forth, and I'll explain it. But here's the hood. Let's go from there. Yeah, there it is. As you can tell, it's really, really, really nice. It's beautiful. One of the damages was on this point here, somewhere roughly around here, and it was pretty big. It was probably it took up the majority of this spot right here, and probably 2 inches, 2¼ inches wide. Then there was 2 little dings on this side from it, and let's see, when this thing fell over, it was on that side. On this side, when it hit the ground or the concrete, it took off about 1.5 inches of paint. It normally, like if you scraped against something, that was the outcome. Over in this corner, it was kind of bent in some. It didn't separate the paint. It folded in on this corner. And then there was another mark on this side over here. And what had happened was, as you can see, I have the 2 fenders that are covered, but I have 6x6s on the bottom of the stand because I wanted to make sure that the bottom of the fenders, as you can see, and I even added an extra 1.5 inches to give me enough height to spray up underneath here and then come up along the fender line. So that's the reason why they're up on that. And so what had happened was, that thing, this being set up almost in the same spot, maybe maybe a little closer to the door, and when the wind picked up, it lifted it and tipped it over, and it came down and it hit the 6x6s. So that created damage, and let me tell you, I lost my breath when I looked through the clear plastic of the booth. Oh boy, it was really it was a lot to take in. I knew I could fix it, but the problem was, at that time, I didn't know that I can get at least 1 more quart of the candy. Because I figured if I can't get enough material, and if I don't have enough, because I wasn't sure if what I had was going to be enough, because it's transparent. You're doing a 75% overlap as you're spraying it, so you're using a lot of candy. So you go through the product quickly. So I wasn't going to risk repairing it and then try to paint it. And if it didn't match after all that, because they didn't have enough of the candy, it would look worse probably if I just left the damage. So that was the biggest outcome of that. But like I said, the company Auto Paint, they had another quart, which at the end of the day, I was safe to have 1 gallon of sprayable material. Keep in mind, I put 6 gallons of candy on this car, and that didn't even include painting the top because it didn't have to get painted, or the underneath because I already had both painted, but different colors. But between the exterior, the fenders, under the hood, under the trunk lid, all the inner panels, you know, all that areas, that used a lot of candy, plus the frame used a lot of candy. So unfamiliar with how much I would really need, I ended up using actually a half a gallon. So I was definitely blessed there on the material. So today I'm going to do the clear, go through the steps so I can get this out of here. And I might even do one of the fenders at the same time, I'm unsure, and then just save one fender and the body for the rest. You can see it's all covered. I didn't want any overspray on it when I was doing this because it's all sanded and prepped, except their right fender isn't sanded yet, at least not all of it. So I'm going to see how that plays out and go from there. But in the meantime, I'm going to take you around the block, so to speak, and remind you of the trailer that I built. And I built a battery box, and with the blessings and the helps of my good man Daniel, added a couple of pieces of metal, because once I show you, the box is 12 inches high, it's 24 inches wide, and it's 12 inches deep. A battery box to assist the winch. And even though I could have just bolted it onto the 6-inch C-channel, I wanted a little bit more added to it so that I would feel more comfortable. So that's the reason for those pieces where they are with the holes in it. And now I'm going to show you the battery box that I built out of aluminum. And then I also built a like duct box for filtering the air intake to, you know, pull out the overspray and so forth as I'm spraying. So here is the battery box, and today I installed 12-inch, 2 of them, because that's what they had, stainless steel piano hinges with aluminum rivets. Now this is an aluminum box, you can't put steel hinges on there because, you know, oxidation between metal and aluminum, that's what would happen. So this is the box, and actually it will be mounted like this, so that when I open up the door to go in at the battery, it goes down and not the other way and have to hold it up. So I'll probably add a little latch right here and a chain to make sure that, you know, it doesn't get carried away, or just let it swing down. It'll only swing so far. So and my little brackets, well, I made these to one flat piece of aluminum, and I bent it on Daniel's. I used his machine, his equipment, and between the two of us, we sheared the aluminum and bent it, and then I came here and I welded it all up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to mounting this, and this was the final step of what I was waiting to build to put on the trailer. And then the other items that I was waiting for and that I got were the aluminum ramps. 7-footers. They are rated for 6,000 pounds, and my Scat Track machine back there, as I zoom in on it, is rated, the weight on it is under 6. I know it's more than 5,000 pounds, but I know it's under 6,000 pounds. So the first thing I tested on these ramps, well, without these pieces here, I'll get into this. I tested it on that. And they did fine, but you can't really tell as much because I straightened a lot of it out. But these pieces that go across for traction, they got bent in, and then I put the car on it. I put a charger on it. I drove up on there, and you know, obviously did the same thing. So at the same time, Daniel gave me these pieces. They were already cut, the width. He already had these as, you know, scraps, so to speak, on the side, and they were actually the perfect length. It fits on here perfect. So I'm going to weld these on from the underneath, and this will give it a little more strength, and that dip in those cross pieces will not happen again because the diamond plate is pretty thick and it'll definitely accommodate the ride. And I really do believe it'll make that structure a little bit stronger just in case. And it hooks on, as you can see where my finger is. That's how they have it to where you can hook on. So when I got them, I had to build the back end of the trailer to accommodate that. And one other thing I'm going to do for safety, as I spoke with my man Daniel, I'm going to drill a hole here, and I'm going to make a brass fitting to go in here, and the hole will go in that direction to where I can put a big pin in it. And the pin will latch underneath the receiver of that, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to go out to the trailer and show you what I'm talking about. And this way you'll have a full understanding of the method to my madness. Absolutely. Yeah, those are just extra stuff. My beautiful trailer. And I also made the brackets to hold, you can see. And you can see how those things are bent. It's the same thing on the other ones. And the other ramp rides on top here of this here. So I welded them up and put them in there. Perfect storage spot. And then this is, I took the 3-inch C-channel that I had from the other trailer and I split it down the middle to give me 2 pieces, which was more than enough to do this. So I welded this, which now looks like an angle iron, on the back end of the trailer all the way through, and I put these little gussets on there, as you can see, all the way across where I felt it would be needed the most. And those little gussets actually came from cutting the 45s off of these corners of the 6-inch C-channel, and I saved them just in case. Worked out perfect. I didn't have to cut any material up. They were already cut to size. It worked out perfect. As far as I'm concerned, worked out just fine. That's right. And I think I have a piece of that left. I could show you. Yeah, there it is. So after splitting this in half, you can see the rust that formed there. That's where it was cut. I used that to create that, so that worked out really well. And pretty much this and that, and then the ramps, the original ramps, is all that's left. And I've actually used this as a jack already on this trailer in the back when I went to mount and weld up those pieces for the ramps. It worked out great. And I know someday along the line I'll find use for this other stuff. I'm not throwing it out. And if somebody that I know and I'm good with, I'll let them have the remains of the hitch and stuff if they wanted it. And actually it has a brake system on it. But once the ramp goes on here and it latches like that, that pin will come underneath this and stop the ramp from wanting to come up when the vehicle comes up on the ramp on the other end if it wanted to kick up. So that'll prevent that from happening. And that's the whole idea of doing what I want to do with that. So in the meantime, I haven't really got to use the trailer other than picking up the steel I-beam that I ended up adding underneath. I didn't feel comfortable with the deflection in the trailer without it because it ended there at that seam, and I have it overlapped in at least 11 inches. And then it proceeds to go back onto the cradle of where the wheels are mounted, and then I plated across the front there to give it a little more stability. So there's, on both sides of the trailer, I added that 8-inch I-beam. Worked out really well. I feel a lot more comfortable with it now, and not going to feel like I have an issue or worry about it, bending in half on me. So that's that. The only time I used it was to pick up that 25-foot I-beam. Worked out well. I think it tracked well. So the only thing left is I need to mount that battery box right there, and then I can put all of this stuff here that I have wrapped up in there, and then get a rubber grommet for that, and wrap this and wrap that all the way to, and that's it. It's over. It's done. Looking forward to using it. So let me get back to prepping and letting the spray boot puff up. Oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to show you. So I made this for the venting and filters. Filters, I have a couple different types that go on the front. This is for the entrance coming in with the vehicle on that side, and it lays down on the floor, and then that vacuum system right there gets hooked up to here and pulls it, and this box is actually inside the spray booth, so that's why there's color on it. And there's the tubing that gets attached to the other end, so you can vent it wherever you need be. So I made another one for the entrance door that would be on that side where the main course is, and I'll be putting it in there when I go to do the clear coat, the final clear coat. But I made this yesterday. It's roughly it's 24 by almost 24. It's almost a perfect square. I think it may be 20 inches high by 24. And then put that part in there that the blower would get hooked up into. And then Daniel also gave me this metal stretched, I forgot what that's called, but I'll cut it to length and it'll go on the front just like that, so that when the filters go there, they won't get sucked in. That's the reason why I wanted this. The other one that I have on there, I already had it, and it's actually made out of aluminum. But this one is metal. Obviously, you can see a little bit of surface rust on there. So that's the game plan on this. That's what I've been doing. So let me get started on mixing the clear, getting it ready. Make sure the hood is nice and dust-free. And yeah, this is the company that I got my material from. I've been using them lately on this car and another project, and I really like their stuff. And it's Auto Paint HQ. That's the company. So where's my clear? Clear that I got, 2 extra gallons, which ends up giving me 2.5 extra gallons of clear. And I have other clears I've used, and I really like the other one that came out of, the other clear I was using was ATX. That came out of Italy, and that stuff is really good. And I think it's compatible. This is a better pricing on it than what I was paying at Sherwin-Williams for it. You know, Sherwin-Williams is getting a little out of hand with their pricing. And hey, you know, it's about making money and doing a nice job and making everybody happy. And Sherwin-Williams is not making everybody happy. Their prices keep going up, even though I get a discount. But as they raise the price, discount's a discount, but it ain't keeping me at the original pricing. So they want to have, you know, 100 different managers watching managers, and keep, you know, feeding them. That's fine and dandy. But when your valued and long-time customer since 2008 decides to go elsewhere, well, you got to start scratching your head and thinking, why are they leaving? They're leaving because your prices are just way out of hand. And that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. I'm not really concerned about what anybody thinks about my opinion. It is what it is. It's a proven fact about my experience with products and how much I have to spend on it. And that's the way it is, you know. By my experience, I tell it the way it is, and you can use it or throw it away. It doesn't matter. But those are the facts, plain and simple. And that's just the way I've always been. If I've ever offended somebody because I told the truth, well, too bad for them. I personally don't care, because it ain't about them. It's about being true and honest and having some sort of integrity, I believe, and, you know, honoring that. So in my experience with painting, and I'm not no professional, you know, like Chip Foose type painter. That man is extraordinary. I would love to work with him. I don't think I would ever have the chance, but spend a month with working with him, I'd be in my heaven, I tell you. But knowing that I've done enough and I put out some really nice work, my experience is this product is probably half, if not a little bit less than half, than what Sherwin-Williams charges for the same, almost, I say the same content of product, not, buying it from Auto Paint and then selling it through Sherwin-Williams. The product that they produce, wherever they get it from, this stuff is much better. So I'm saying it not because, I buy their products and they sent me a quart that I paid for, along with a quart of reducer, but I'm just telling you the facts. It's just how it boils down to. So let me get to mixing stuff up and getting it ready. And even though this looks like a mess, because it is, but that's what happens, and I will eventually clean it up, and I'll get right back with you. So hang tight. Stand by. Okay, I'm back, and I'm about to enter the booth. Just got done doing the process of the clears that I put on it. Yes, sir. Kind of hard to tell. Cameras and video stuff never does anything justice. But to give you at least a finished view of it, I thought I'd give it a whirl. Came out really nice. Yes, sir. Laid down really nice. It's still settling. It's definitely, you can't touch it. Usually how you can check, you could just check anything that you taped off. And it's tacky still, so which is good. I'm glad it's taking its time to, cure, harden, flash. Got some air movement right there, along with the air system is on, pulling air through, absolutely. So that's that. I'm satisfied. It's going to have to be, wet sanded, color buff, whatever, how they want to call it. To give it that real luster. It's got a lot of luster now. And so here's this one. This venting. And here's that one. Elephant trunk attached to. Yep. And next thing we do is I'm going to mount the battery box on the trailer while that is doing its thing inside. So I'm going to get it set up, put it on the stand, and give you a little show of mounting the box on the trailer. So stand by. I'll be right back. Okay, well, I'm back. And I got it set up. It's not bolted in. I didn't drill any holes yet. But I got it in place where I want it, as you can see. Use the good old welding clamps. It is centered. I had measurements from the other day when I put those 2 extra pieces of channel on there. So I'm going to put a total of 4 bolts in there. And I already have them. I found them in my storage bins. And I got a lot of these. Not that I drink a lot of coffee, but over the years, you can collect a lot of cans and they come in handy. I like them anyway. Yes, sir. And these are actually 5/8. I have these, so this way I won't have to go and buy any. They're good enough length, I think, I hope. I'm sure they'll work out well. And I'm probably going to have to go snatch up one of the bigger drill bits that I have, 5/8 diameter, because in this kit, 1/2 inch is as big as it comes. Yeah, definitely going to have to get a bigger one, for sure, which is fine. No worries there. So, put this here, and I better put it, I don't want to put it on the ground. There's too many ants crawling around here, and I already see a handful of them on the trailer. So I'm going to start with the upper ones. I'm putting 2 in the main frame, and then 2 in the extra pieces that I extended it with. So I'm going to start off with a smaller bit. I think I'll start off with 5/16, and then I'll go up to 1/2 inch, and then I'll go grab the 5/8. Yep. And I did check on the paint moments ago, and it's drying perfectly. It's taking its time, and that's what you would want. That's what I want. This way, it gives everything time to really level out, and less chance of seeing any, pretty much at all, maybe no orange peel whatsoever. Not when it laid down that there was any, but nevertheless, if there was a little bit of, jiggle in the clear, you don't want that. So the longer it takes to cure, it gives it time to level out, which is, to me, the better. But that's just me. Yep, just me. I gotta make sure there's no wire on the opposite side of that. And no, there isn't. But I am going to the other piece of angle iron I have in there to create the shelf for the wood to sit on there. So I'm going to probably 3/8 to 7/16 thick metal. Then I'm going to slow the speed down. The smaller the bit, the faster the speed. The bigger the bit, the slower the speed. I was always taught that when I went to school to be a tool and die maker. Here we go on that one. Now I'm going to get me that 5/8 drill bit, so I'll be right back. I'm back. It's easier to see them out here in the daylight than it is in the dark. Yeah, got all assortments of drill bits, big sizes. Let's see. This one seems to be too big. What does this say? I know it's going to be fun drilling that 5/8. I'm glad I'm drilling it alongside this box, because when a drill wants to kick, it's hitting the box. Less chance of me messing up my wrist, because it's got a lot of torque. Ooh, what's up with that? That's not very nice. Huh. Oh, you see? I was holding it from the bottom. Oh my god. And the drill, and it clamped my finger between the drill and the dang box. Fool. That hurt. Oh my god. Right on, the fingertip, right where the fingernail is. Yeah. I think this dropped a little. Yeah, it did. It dropped a little. I'm going to try kicking it up. Maybe. It went up. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Now we're talking. The old steel toe shoes came in handy. Now it's back to the part, and hopefully don't get beat up. See, that's the first part of the metal. once everything is drilled, I'm going to run a rubber strip. I have tubing from bicycle tire that I'll cut and put a hole in it and put it between the metal and the aluminum so it doesn't oxidize against each other and create corrosion. I just want to get it all, fitted, fixed, bolted, and all that silliness beforehand. It's going to be for the other side. Yeah. That's for the bottom. This is also for the bottom. Now I need hardware for the top. Come on now. Show me. Show me some love. Give me a hard time. Alright, we need the nut now. Yep, this one's probably too small. Yep, too small. That's for 1/2 inch. Yeah. Lock washer. Too small. Guess I don't have another 5/8. Nope. I'm gonna have to check my other stash. See if I have a 5/8 nut. If not, no big deal. I'll have to use 1/2 inch. Yep. So, let me go and see if I can find a 5/8 diameter. Looks like fine threads, not too coarse. And get that bolted in and then use 1/2 inch for the rest, because I guess I didn't check well enough. But I'll be right back. Well, I couldn't immediately find one. And I don't want to waste any more time looking for something like that when I got an assortment of 1/2 inch. I do have a couple of the 5/8 on the bolts, but not the nuts. But no big deal. Just going to use 1/2 inch, and that'll be the end of it. It's just a whole lot easier and time saving. I don't want to waste time looking through all the hardware I got, and I have a lot of hardware, and I just don't want to waste a half hour looking for it, because it'd probably take longer than that to find one. So we're going to stick with what I have. 1/2 inch is plenty thick enough and strong enough, so we're going to go with that. Look at that. Piece of cake. Yep, piece of cake. That means going to have to get different tools. I kind of went a little too high. So, now that you got the gist of how I'm handling this, and I don't want to bore you, so when it's all said and done, I'll tune back in. So, hang tight. Okay, I'm back, and it is done. Come to find out, the bolts were 9/16, not even 1/2 inch. Obviously a little bit bigger than 1/2 inch, which worked out fine too. I have a 9/16 drill bit. So it's all bolted up really nice and tight, solid. Now the next thing I'm going to do is run a hole on the side of this box where I can feed the wire in. Yeah, let me see here. Put that like that. Put this like this. Yeah, let's see what we got. Yeah, see all this stuff here? Yeah, baby. I gotta get it in there somehow. some way inside here. Not really sure how that's going to work out. This part is simple because it'll unbolt from the back and it will reach down into the side. So will the ground. I'll have it run in here on the side, or in this case this side, because the battery will be here. Or I can put one hole on this side for this part, because it'd have to be a pretty big hole for these two to fit in there. We'll see. And then to top it off, this relay setup will go in there, but I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go back into the box and undo the wire to run it through, or unplug the relay, and if I drill a big enough hole for these two wires to go in there, maybe this will fit and then I can go in there and then plug everything back. That's probably what I'm going to do. Have everything going from the, which would be considered the left side of the trailer. As I'm facing it, it's actually the right side, but when it comes to the car world, left side is driver, passenger side is right. So that's going to be the plan. So I'm going to get me one of those keyhole saw like drill bits that I have plenty of, and I'm going to do that and set it up. And then I can put this away and find the hardware that came with this in the cover that goes on here so that I can mount it in here. So all I gotta do is, open it up, reach in and turn it on or off. So that's going to be the plan. So once I have that done, I'll tune back in. So that's the scoop. I'm going to clean this stuff up because I don't need it anymore, and put it away and make a new mess, and then I'll be back. So hang tight. Okay, I'm back, and for now it is finished. I'm going to give you a close-up, but I put a battery in here. It's a good battery. It is a 12-volt battery. It's for garden tractors. It's just to put it in there and kind of give you an idea on how it's set up. And I will get a marine battery, which is at least another half of this bigger and a little bit deeper, and probably the same height, and definitely heavier. And then that'll determine where I hook this stuff up. So I'm going to bring you in a close-up, take you off the stand, and show you what I'm talking about or what I did. Alright, let me see. Alright, so I drilled the hole, nice size hole that comfortably fits all the wires. Especially I had to get this plug with the relay through there, which it did without the relay on. And then I lined it with loom. And I did the same thing over here. I lined that up with loom. And then under the trailer, where this wire goes through, I did the same thing. So this way, nothing will happen to it. I have to purchase the bigger diameter loom to cover this, because I don't have any. But this small stuff works really well around here and protect it. I did take all the edge off around the aluminum so that it wouldn't even cut this. So this is the setup, and once I have the bigger battery in there, then I'll determine where I'm going to put this switch and mount the relay and this switch. The relay and the switch is actually for the extra work lights. Those things right there. Yeah, that's what that's for. And everything else in here is for the winch, except for this heavy gauge red wire. This is an auxiliary power coming from the truck once you hook up to it, and I will hook it up to the battery and it'll give it a charge as it's running. But when I get the marine battery, I'm going to buy a solar panel and mount it up on top there out in the sun, so it'll maintain the charge. So once I need it, it'll always be good, even though it could and will run off the truck. But just to give this a little extra boost, so that I have the amount of wattage amperage needed to really run this bigger winch. So that's the story. This is all nice. The only thing left I have to do for this battery box is make a latch to go up here, maybe one in the middle, maybe two, one on either end. It doesn't matter, but I gotta have something in here to keep it latched on top, locked or something, and that'll be that. But I am very satisfied with the way this turned out. Yeah, I'm loving it. It's what I was waiting for. So that's that. Yes, 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 yes. Just digging it. So I'm going to show you the product on the hood. It's been a few hours. I don't think it's 100% like safe to touch, but what I'm going to do is to quiet down the noise. I'm going to turn off the exhaust fan. It will reduce the noise so you can hear me better, I hope. And maybe you can catch the view of that. That's like glass. Yeah, I'm really, really loving it. It leveled out just incredible. Let's see. Yeah, it's got a tiny, tiny little tack to it. I would not touch it. No, I ain't touching that paint. I don't want to put any little fingerprint mark. I could do it down here where the front chrome, which won't be chrome, hood bezel goes, but I don't want to. Yeah, it's finished really nice all the way around. I'm loving it. Yep. Pictures don't do anything justice, but nevertheless, it looks great. Next, I'm going to do separate the two fenders, and then this way I will take the hood out of here, and once the fenders are done, I'll pull them out. Then I will roll the car forward a little bit to give me more access and more room, and then do the car last. The reason why I'm doing that is a friend suggested it because of the amount of overspray that ends up in this booth as I'm spraying clear. Clear is the worst, I think. So to minimize any settling on the freshly cleared product, the least amount that you spray, the least amount that'll be stuck in the air. Even though the booth will draw out more because I'll have 3 exhaust fans hooked up, running full blast to pull it out. So, but I just want to make it easier on myself so that I can end up with a really super nice finished project and very little to, cut and buff type of thing. So that's my plan, and that's going to be it for this particular video. But next I will show on the next video the fenders being ready. This fender right here, the left side, is ready for the candy clear, but this side is not ready for the candy clear. It got started, but I got to finish it. But the car is all ready for the candy clear. I just have it all covered because I didn't want any overspray on it. So that's that. But that's going to be the next video, this one, and then the car will be separate. So this way I can keep them short and hopefully to the point. Hopefully you enjoyed the video between the 2 different things I've done, the clearing the hood and taking care of the outside there, the battery box on the trailer, and you got to see more of the trailer actually in complete form versus my last video on that trailer, and it's not showing the red and white vinyl on there, for the DOT, that stuff wasn't on there. And then the part for the ramps and the ramps. But actually I'll show the ramps when I do the fender video, how I welded the diamond plate on the ramps. Yeah, that's a little bit of a project, nothing major. But I do appreciate people watching. Hopefully you'll like, make a comment, subscribe, tell your friends, that kind of thing. It will help. I'm probably into this 4.5 months now, and not a bad turnout. I'm hoping I'm, make enjoyable something to watch, even if it's not 100% watched. But anywho, I do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, try to get something done.